Mark, you must be more than happy with the Ofsted you've just got.
Absolutely delighted. Absolutely delighted. Whereas in November 2008 it was a very, very close call. I think this time, I think it reflects how well the whole team pulled together. For a quarter of the teaching to come out outstanding, you're right, we were over the moon. And I have to say the team were absolutely brilliant over those 2 days. They really, really were. They were magnificent. And then there were things that the Ofsted team picked out, like the improved provision for our youngest children, which is something that me and Sarah really care passionately about, that the children get the best possible start in the school. And words like we're an inclusive school, and the fact the word outstanding came up 3 times in the report. Yes, we are delighted, totally delighted.
And you fed that back to the students and the staff and the parents.
Oh yes.
So where do you go from here?
Well, obviously many heads would say they want to seek for outstanding, but we know we've still got a long way to go. Our level 4s and level 5s are not as high as we would like them, but the progress rates are improving. Our 2 levels progress in maths has just gone up year on year. We've still got work to do on writing, but then a lot of schools have. We just got to continue to make sure the teaching is the best quality we can possibly make it for the children. We've now got a wonderful building. Now we've had the benefit of the primary capital programme, £2 million spent on the building, so that we've created what I set out to create 4 years ago, which is a cathedral of learning. We've still got work to actually further improve teaching, quality teaching, and we're doing a lot of collaborative teaching approach using my cues to come in and getting the teachers to video each other, and it's those tweaks, those small changes that make the difference. But we certainly wouldn't rest on our laurels and say we're there. We're not. We've got a lot of work still to do.
Was there any particular aspect of the whole Ofsted report that you'd say that's since you've been here, in 2008, you think that's where we really have improved, that's where we've come on a long way?
Well, undeniably the improvement in teaching, because certainly Sarah and myself have put a lot of energies into improving the quality of teaching. So there's consistently good teaching throughout the school, which is what our children really, really need. The improved learning environment, and I don't just mean the fabric of the building, I mean as you go into the classrooms and you can actually see interactive displays, you can actually see learning walls which are really conducive to the everyday learning going on in the classroom in English and Maths. The whole thing about developing the book focused curriculum, which is a new initiative since September. Developing writing opportunities in other subject areas. And I suppose the actual building itself. So there are quite a few things in there which we've certainly stamped our mark on.
How do you prepare teachers for an Ofsted? Because for a lot of teachers, it's very, very stressful. I know some get into I know in other schools, they get themselves in a real state. How do you prepare for that?
Well, I suppose the most important thing is that the head and the deputy don't appear to be really stressed about it. In some ways, I'm quite fortunate because, as you know, I'm a trained Ofsted inspector. I've actually done 4 or 5 inspections over the last year. I've also been inspected myself now 4 times in 18 months, 3 being at Thameside, who I've been supporting for the last 2 years, which finished at the end of last term. So I'm confident that we can show the school in the best possible light. And it's being honest with teachers and saying, well, this is where you need to work to improve. Give them clear goals how to improve, and support from other members of staff within the school. So make the most of the expertise you have, and you obviously don't want to have teachers who are panicking about it because they don't do a good job in the classroom. So I think it's be fair to say that we have been preparing for this inspection now for best part of, I would say, half a year to 9 months. So it's quite a long lead-in, and it's come at just the right time, I might add. Building work's completed. I wouldn't want it to come a few months ago with all the scaffolding everywhere. And it's for me, it's better to come now rather than from September with the new framework yet again.
Early years provision. There was positive comments about that.
Yes, we're really pleased because that's moved on hugely in the last few years. About 4.5 years ago, the outside provision, for example, resembled something from 1960s Bulgaria. It was, plain concrete slabs and rubber matting. It was a really poor provision for children. That area of school, that phase, had been really underinvested for many years, in my view. And we invested quite a lot of money, well, a huge amount of money. We had artificial flooring put down. We spent a lot of money on new equipment for the children. And then we upped the game once more because the children moved into the new reception block once the building work had finished, and through the primary capital programme money. And their provision over there is just second to none. It's absolutely fantastic. In fact, we get some other schools come to visit now, and it's just so lovely for the children to have a learning environment like that. You can't help but learn in an environment which is so rich like that. When Ofsted came in a couple of weeks ago, the lessons graded, and I did some joint observations, came out either outstanding or good. I think there were 3 goods and 2 outstandings. And it does reflect that the amount of progress has been made. And I do have to make a mention of the lead for reception, Julie Bullen. She has just amazed me how much she's come on the last couple of years. She really has, and she's led that team so well. We under the old framework, we would have been arguing a 1 for our early years provision and teaching, and that's sort of come out in the report.
Finally, any discussion of in any schools in Thurrock seems to lead to the word academy. Where are you with academy? Well,
it is public knowledge now that that Stifford Primary have actually gone forward to consult in terms of the proposal actually moving forward to become an academy from as soon as 1st of September. We've carried out the consultation with staff, we've carried out consultation with parents. That's now come to an end. We had 1 parent letter in, which we'll bring up at the Governor's meeting. It was nothing too controversial. It's certainly the parents I've spoken to on the playground seem very much of the view that it's the right thing for Stifford Primary. The Governors are going to formally agree or not whether we go forward on this week after next. I would next week. I would suspect they will say yes. Certainly from the soundings I've had. So it'd be quite exciting, a new chapter in Stifford's life. And we have to think about uniform, we'll have to think about the school name. It is going to be an exciting time. And of course, the best thing, Michael, it means we'll have that 8% top slice money which now goes to local authority, which is, for a school this size, is over £200,000, to actually think, how can we best use those resources to support the needs of our children? And as you know, we have a really wide variety of needs in this school. High percentage of EAL children, high percentage of special needs children, free school meals, etc. A lot of children on child protection cases. It really will help us to further support and develop those areas.
Would this be working as a standalone, or will you be working in partnership with a senior school at all?
The whole idea of the academies approach, from how I see it, is it's the whole thing about supporting other schools. And as you'll be aware, for the last 2 years I've been supporting Thameside Junior School. Now my time there has come to an end, as it needed to, because my job there was finished. So there has been a lot of things going on already where we've been supporting other schools. My deputy's been supporting in terms of moderating in other schools. I've got one of my assistant heads who's been doing work as part of the assessment hub. And some of those areas will be keen to continue with, whether we're academy or not, from September. So I think that the whole idea about supporting other schools as part of whether it's the academy or not, I think that will continue whatever.